Hey, what's good, Dodger Nation? It's your boy Hendo, and welcome to Blu-Zon. I was about to say welcome back, cause I did do this shit before, and I'm back, but y'all wouldn't even know, cause I barely even did anything. But if any of y'all might know me, small possibility. I made the song "Hit the Freddy" a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? Got some love. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm back. Um, yeah, I'm Hendo. I was born in California, but my family moved me to Arizona because Cali was too goddamn expensive at the time. And I've been here since I was like 4 or 5 years old. But my dad raised me as a Dodger fan because he was a Dodger fan growing up, mainly because of Jackie Robinson and just them being the team that helped break the color barrier and all that great stuff. But so I'm a lifelong Dodger fan, and when I say I'm a Dodger fan, I'm a Dodger fan. I watch every game. I watch every game. My life schedules around when the Dodgers are playing, and that's 162 days out of the year. I take this shit serious. On my MLB TV, a couple years ago, they didn't give it out last year, but a couple years ago they gave out the percentage of percentile fan you are, and I was in the top one watched of Dodger games. So, yes, I'm a Dodger fan. Don't matter where I'm located currently, trust me. I know what's going on. I've been a fan of this team my entire life. And to be perfectly honest, I want to get into some shit because we in some shit right now. We ain't playing good, and when I say we ain't playing good, that's putting it lightly, specifically for Dodger standards. And I know a lot of fans is panicking right now. And there's you might have some good reason to be panicking. But at the same time, I've been watching the Dodgers my whole life. I'm older than I look. At least I hope so to y'all, because most people say they don't expect me to be 30, which I am. But, you know what I'm saying? Or I look younger than I am. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I got to blunt my hand. You know what I'm saying? My words might get a little mixed around. So, I said I'm originally from Cali, from the Bay. I know. Chill. I get it. It's where them bitch ass Giants reside. I know. Trust me. I'm not from San Francisco directly, just so we know. But yes, I was closer to San Francisco than LA in my birth region. However, my dad was a lifelong Dodger fan and I was born into it. I had no choice. So here we are, 30 years later. And to be perfectly frank about it, like, I've always been a Dodger fan, and I always followed them and was seeing what was going on. I'm always been Kobe made me a Laker fan. Nobody made me a Laker fan. My dad was just kind of a regular kind of Suns fan just because we live in Arizona, but he never pushed them on me because it was never like that for him, for the Suns, like it was for the Dodgers and the Steelers. But another subject. So yes, I'm a Steeler fan too, but don't hate on me for that. We focus on the Dodgers. This is where we align for all of us. Don't worry about other sports. We align with the Dodgers, and that's where we focusing on. And trust me, the Dodgers is dead serious to me. I've already explained. I watch every game. Every game. Every game. And if I don't see the whole game, I at least see part of it. But trust me, I'm always very well aware on what has happened, what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm not getting paid, so I'm not fucking following every fucking minor detail that's happening. But I know what's happening. I know what's going on. I know how the team is feeling. I know how the team is doing. You know what I mean? I know who's performing, who's not, who's hurt, who's not. And, all the good details that, us regular fans need. So, I made this channel originally with the idea of recapping Dodger games. And, I might not get to do every game. That's a lot. But, at least series or moments, whatever. And I'll figure it out as we go. I just got to try to be consistent. I have to be consistent. I need to stop saying try. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be consistent and just go with the shit. Know that I'm a huge Dodger fan. I got information and knowledge and whatever. My own personal viewpoints that I feel like, people should hear. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's egotistical or not, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like I got shit that people should hear. Might not always agree with me, but if you're a Dodger fan like me, we got the same foundational layer, so we never gonna divide. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yes, been a Dodger fan my whole life. I was a senior in high school in 2013. You know, that's when Puig came. That's when they became like a playoff team. They was hot. So I really started tapping in. Like, I was always a fan, but then I started like trying to watch every game on the streams. And I was streaming games from 2013 to 2016. I was streaming as many games as I could. And you know, that shit is a bitch. Terrible. Unfun. Being an eighth inning, and next thing you know, you got to find a new stream type shit. Just terrible. So in 2017, for those of y'all who've been watching at least since then and know what that year was like, my first year ever buying MLB TV was 2017. And I watched every game of that unbelievably miraculous season of seeing the Dodgers transform from a good team that had potential to that team. And that was a bunch of homegrown talent. And we got fucking cheated by them bitches in Houston, bro. And that shit is, you know, there should have never been a champion for that year. That should have been how that year was figured out. Nobody wins because we didn't win no matter what. Even if we got cheated, we did not win. We don't get the ring. We don't deserve a championship trophy. However, we also wasn't fucking cheating. So them niggas don't deserve that shit neither. You know what I'm saying? So nobody should have won that year. And that should have been the biggest slap in the face. There we go. We had a whole season played and nobody won a championship, which is the whole goal of playing, because these niggas cheated. And that could have set a precedent right there, in my opinion. I mean, you could have went further than that if you wanted to, but at least do that. Nobody wins. Anyway, so, you know, I watched that whole miraculous season, you know, and nightmarishly in Game 7. And then, of course, you know, Yu Darvish basically lights us up every year since then. But that's just how baseball goes. But every time former players go back to their old teams, they just be doing work. But regardless, this isn't about 2017. This is about 2025. I'm trying to get back to it. So there's a lot that I kind of want to go over and talk about and, you know, whatnot. But I just got to talk about where we at right now. And right now, it's not looking good at all, right? I mean, it's just... I mean, as somebody who's been watching them dedicatedly since 2013, like I'm talking about, you know, following every game as much as I can, and specifically since 2017, where I had the MLB TV and pretty much have access to every game. I don't remember ever seeing them be this inconsistent. And granted, maybe them first 3 years, 2013 to 2016, maybe they had some stretches like this. I mean, the worst I ever remember them being was when they lost all them games at the end of the 2017 regular season, which was crazy. Like, they won the whole year. And then, like, the last, like, 15 games, they, like, couldn't win. It was crazy right before the playoffs. And then, of course, once the playoffs started, you know, they went back to normal. And, you know, we already just talked about how that ended. So, but to be 2.5 months or however long it's been now, since July, since they've been playing like ass, you know what I'm saying? It's been a while. And, you know, I don't know. There's a lot to it. There's injuries. There's a lot of stuff involved, but I'm not going to get political. But, you know, ever since they kind of spit on Jackie Robinson and the whole city of L.A. by certain actions that they took as a team, and I'm not saying that was I'm not saying that's literally, like, I don't believe in just like, oh, that's the reason why. Like, no, but I do believe they kind of curse themselves mentally. And that's what's unfolding here, is that they've lost some sense of who they are. Look at Mookie. Mookie hasn't looked like himself. Shit. God damn. Mookie hasn't looked like himself damn near at all this season. And I'll say this, unbelievable at shortstop, though. And it is possible that is maybe declining this bat a little bit because of how much attention he's given to becoming. I mean, goddamn, the man was just. I thought he was good last year. Yeah, he was struggling. He had his moments that, you know, was a little tough because it was his first time playing that since like high school or college, whatever. But overall, you know, I still thought for doing it off the rip like that, I was still pretty impressed. But to see his transformation this season at shortstop, I'm like, my God, you know, Mookie is a hell of a baseball player. But at the plate, you know, obviously he knows better than all of us how much it's been a struggle for him. And, you know, and I feel for him too. And as a fan, you know, we get frustrated. But, you know, we also got to understand these people are human beings just like me and you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you act like just because that man is rich doesn't mean he enjoys struggling. Nobody enjoys struggling. In fact, when you got all the money, I'm sure that makes it even worse because you'd be like, damn, I'm getting paid all this money and I'm over here whiffing. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, at least I'm getting through it. I don't think that. I mean, there's a few athletes that are like that, and that's not a real competitor. You know, but Mookie is a real competitor. And we know that by the amount that he works, the energy that he plays with. You know, it hasn't been himself this year. But he's got time. It's not over. Nothing is over. We are far from over. I mean, we getting close. We got to turn some shit around quickly. But we far from over. But, you know, times are concerning right now. Times are very concerning. And let me just see the notes that I wrote that I want to discuss about just overall. I mean, so, you know, I kind of already discussed certain team decisions that I deem very questionable, just with the fires in LA and you know, just the removal of Jackie Robinson's military history from the White House's website because of we know why. But you know, besides that, you know, we've been injured. The pitching staff has been cooked. I mean, granted, we got some pitchers back, but even still, a lot of them are working back into form. And then, of course, today, Tyler, after all this time, Tyler Glass now, you know, feel like he's been healthy finally. And, you know, now I woke up with back tightness, you know. And, you know, as a fan, you know, we frustrated, of course, but, you know, it can't be no more frustrating than it could be for that man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Tyler, you know, I know you got to be hella frustrated, you know, going through all these injuries. I can't really imagine what that's like, having to deal with just, hey, stop. And having to deal with all the, you know, just the recovery, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you got to get the surgeries and then the rehab and all that type of stuff, you know, I haven't had to do any of that. So I can't understand what that's like. You know, yeah, I know that this is their jobs, what they get paid a lot of money to do, but it still, you know, takes a toll, not just physically, but mentally. And, you know, but man, almost got to stop calling him Tyler Glass now. Just start calling him Tyler Glass. And I'm sure I'm the millionth person that have said something like that, but golly, man, he woke up with back tightness or something today. Just like, sheesh. So, you know, Shohei came in and, you know, he missed his last pitch and start because he was under the weather in Pittsburgh, but, you know, he ended up starting today. Gave us 3 and 2/3. That fourth inning too was special. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he dug deep. He dug very deep. To keep that runner on third with no outs, and struck out the next 2 batters or whatever he did. You know, he got out the inning, struck out the next batter. You know, he did what he had to do to get out the inning. Struck out at least two of the next 3 batters. Just was a very impressive comeback for him. You know what I mean, in that inning. You know, he's been a little struggling lately, but you know, he's getting back into it still. You know, I'm not super worried about his struggles, to be perfectly honest. You know, he's an incredible player. But dang, offense, bro. The offense has just been pathetic, and I need to speed this up. It's taking a little too long. But the offense, bro, has just been sorry as a unit. And obviously, we've been in a stretch for a while now where, you know, we just not being able to combine both sides of the game, you know. So when the pitching does great, the offense doesn't show up and vice versa. But, you know, like they've been saying in the post-game shows and Dave Roberts, you know, the offense got to wake up. The offense has just been very inconsistent. And, you know, even with Max Muncy out, which obviously has been ginormous. Max Muncy looked like his 2021 version of him, you know, before he had that freak injury against the Giants, or, you know, in that last game of the year. God, and if that hadn't happened, who knows how that season would have turned out? You know what I'm saying? Not saying we would have beat the Braves, but who knows? I mean, who knows? Max was playing at an MVP caliber that year. And it seemed like the last 2 years after that, he's been trying to get back to that form. And then finally he gets back to that form. He's like the goddamn avatar, bro. When he's at his most powerful, he's at his most vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Max, whenever he's at his best. But I don't want to speak that into no existence. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying as a fan, it's like, damn, every time he's balling out, it's like something happened. Like that knee injury was ridiculous. Like, in the arm injury going back to 2021, like, come on, man, what? And then that first injury he had with the knee, with the hyperextension on that play at third, just fucking ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, Why would that even happen to him? Like, that is, I don't want to talk that shit because I know as him, I know, I'm sure all those thoughts be coming in your head, I'm not trying to add any type of, but it's just like, damn, man, let this man live, bro. But obviously, we need Max Muncy if we're going to win this year. Obviously, we need people to turn around and start performing better. Teo, Mookie, basically everybody. But we're going to need Max Muncy for sure in the lineup. Just as the presence alone and how he's been this year, the confidence that he'll give the rest of the lineup just with, his whole presence. So the fear he's gonna give to the opposing pitchers and the confidence he's gonna give to the whole team, knowing that Max is back in the lineup, So we need him back. Obviously, look like Will escaped serious injury the other night with that foul ball that got hit off the hand. So, that's extremely good because obviously we're gonna need Will too. Dalton, it's been tough for him, and it hasn't been easy with the limited playing time that he's been able to get, not being able to do any consistent work out there, you know what I'm saying, like he was used to. But at the same time, it's been tough for him, you know what I mean, on multiple levels. And then tonight was just, tonight's a night that he got to flush. I'm sure he's feeling it tonight. Not only did he get hurt, he had some tough missed pitches, and, it's been an issue going on. And it's just, you got to shrug it off and, don't lose no confidence, Dalton. It's a rough game. You know what I mean? It's one of them games where, all the bad shit happen at once, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But it's a long goddamn season. That 3-run home run that you had a couple weeks ago against the Padres was the biggest hit that we've had damn near all year. So let's not forget that as fans, you know what I mean? For all y'all who might want to be frustrated with everything that happened. That 3-run home run he hit in the 8th inning or whatever against the Padres a week ago or whatever, week and a half ago, that was huge. That was the biggest hit we've had in months. So, you know what I mean? Don't get too hard on Dalton. That man's still a rookie. That man's still trying to figure it out. He's getting limited playing time. He's going to get it figured out. And it's tough when you got an all-star caliber catcher playing in front of you. He ain't playing just behind any catcher. He's playing behind Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? So, and Will Smith, like I said, not trying to speak no ills into existence, but, Will Smith has kind of been on the last few years where he starts off really hot, the first half of the season, and then whether it's the toll of doing all the catching and whatever it might be, he kind of tails off towards the end of the year a little bit. And, this year kind of started to go on that similar trend these last few weeks. I feel like the last couple weeks he's been kind of picking it back up. But, he had a pretty rough, few weeks span there. Couple weeks after the All-Star break where he started to, I feel like right after the All-Star break he was kind of good, unless I'm remembering wrong. I feel like right after the All-Star break, that first week or two, he was okay. He was still fine, but then, he fell off pretty hard for a bit, which it's a long season. This happens for everybody. Look at what happened to Freddie earlier this year. Like, Freddie was batting like 370 at some point, or 340, and then he's down to 290 something, you know what I mean? Like, immediately. It's just, it happens, and unfortunately it's happened for a lot of our lineup at a similar time, and then we've had unfortunate injuries to the wrong people, not saying this ever to the right person, but losing Max with how well he was playing, with how important he's been to the lineup, it's been monumental, obviously. We're a whole different team so far, 2025, when he's playing and when he's not. So, hopefully that we can keep him healthy for the rest of the year. And I know he's supposed to come back here pretty soon, so I think next series or whatever. So that's the hope for that. But yeah, man, it's just been tough. The energy of the team has been low. You just see that they're not playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of fire right now. And, it's hard to play with fire when you're not doing anything and you're not making nothing happen. So, you know what I mean? Or, you losing a lot of close games, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of lack of confidence. And I could tell you, when they swept the Padres like a few weeks ago, like a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, whatever, the first time they played them in that little 10-day span, nothing about those wins really impressed me. I'm just being honest. As much as I watched the Dodgers, like, on paper, they won them solidly. It was like 5-1, you know what I mean? Maybe a 4-3 game or whatever, but they handled them on paper in that series. But the Padres seemed like they came out real flat. They ain't look like themselves to me. And they came in really hot, and the Dodgers came in ice cold. And, you know, I still feel like no matter what, you know, I know they beat us in the playoffs, whatever, year ago or a couple years ago. What, 3 years ago now? But regardless, I still feel like they know they not the big brothers. You know what I mean? Until they maybe win the division to whatever feel like they kind of have gotten on a level that we're on. But we've dominated the division for years now. You know what I mean? Even the years that it was a close race, to win it 10 out of 11 years or whatever it's been, 11 out of 12, and the 1 year was the Giants on that crazy year where they just kept winning with that team. And then, of course, it ended up ending on that wild check swing. Oh, man, I hate bad calls no matter, even if it goes our way, but that's still ridiculous that he called that. I mean, they most likely were going to lose no matter what, but to call that check swing was wild. But anyway, that's ancient history now. But yeah, man, it's been a long shitty stretch for the Dodgers, man. One that I haven't really seen since I've tapped in, like I said, since, you know, I said in 2013 and 2017, but specifically since I got the MLB TV in 2017, I ain't never seen a stretch like this for this long. You know what I mean? And when it first started, you know, it was just a few games, whatever. And I thought they turned it around against the Reds. That's when I thought they looked like they were back. I was like, okay, first team to sweep the Reds all season, but not only that, they pretty much handled them those 3 games. I felt like we were back, you know, but it's been a tough stretch. And I know a lot of people are in panic mode. You know, Tanner Scott obviously has been having a very tough season, to put it lightly. You know, when he gave up 3 home runs all last season, he's giving up 10 now. That last pitch just makes no sense. I mean, you know, and I know he knows that. I heard him in a post-game interview. I'm not gonna put any more shit on what we already know. I don't understand that pitch at all. I really don't. 1-2, 2 outs. I mean, I'd rather you hit him than do that. Obviously, you know, because he hits a home run. But like, damn, like, why are we throwing a strike down the middle it just don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And I'm not no baseball expert. I've been watching the game for a long time now, devotedly. So I wasn't a novice by any means to baseball when I first came in. Like, I understood the rules, I understood the game, I understood things about baseball. I wasn't like, oh, what does that mean? No, I know what most things meant. But I wasn't nuanced with it. I wasn't detailed with it like I am with football and basketball more than I was at the time with baseball. But now, you know, after watching it for a long time, dedicatedly, being able to listen to Vince Scully towards the very end, but also really have enjoyed listening to Joe Davis and Orel Hershiser over the years, and just I think it's been really cool. I mean, I like Joe a lot too. I really do. I like Joe a lot. I think he's a great. I just think they're so good together. But it's been an extra special, I feel like, to kind of get to know Orel Hershiser. You know what I mean? Being the Dodger great, the Bulldog, but like getting to know him more personally, and you know, just seeing how wise he is about the game, and just, you know, learning from him a lot too, and just his perspective, obviously as a pitcher as well. You know, so, and then of course we got the post game show. You got Jerry, you got Nomar Garcia-Parra. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people who know a lot about the game that I've got to listen to for a long time now, and it's helped me gain a lot of knowledge about baseball. And you know, I'll put it to you like this: I knew all the basics about baseball, but I didn't know how detailed and strategical it was until I started really watching. I didn't know they was shifting the defenses. I didn't know they was throwing pitches to get hitters to hit it a certain way because of how they've calculated where he gonna hit it to. You know, I didn't know about all of this type of stuff, you know, and I started to see all the different details of the batter matchup, the pitch breakdown, you know what I'm saying, the type of pitchers that the pitcher throws compared to what the batter has a good eye for, what his sweet spot is, and how you try to combat that as best you can, you know what I mean? And, you know, so just seeing just all the strategical aspects of the game is what really made me fall in love. And I'm like, damn, it's really a chess game. Like every pitch is a chess game. Every pitch is a chess game. So like if you're just a regular baseball, whatever, you just see a baseball game, you're just waiting for a hit or, whatever, a home run, whatever it is. And if you don't see that happen, relatively quickly, the game is boring. And I ain't gonna lie, baseball can be boring at times, but I also love it for that. Because in October, it's never boring. The whole thing is stressful as hell. And we've been lucky enough to be watching an October team for decades now. So, I enjoy the everyday grind of the season because it's like I like going with the team. This year hasn't been as much fun, with all the struggles we've been having, but even still, compared to other teams, we still in first place in the division. So when the Dodgers are struggling compared to when other teams are struggling, it's still a whole different ball game. Like we as fans don't really know what it's like to be struggling for real. Like the Rockies and them kind of teams. Or even some teams like the D-backs, you know what I mean, where they talented, but, they kind of a 500 team, you know what I mean? And it's like, you just don't know one year to the next what they're going to do. For the Dodgers, we've known every year, pretty much since 2017 for sure, that, we going to the playoffs. We going. We know that. In fact, we've pretty much known almost every year since then, not guaranteed every year, but almost every year since then, that we was going to win the division. Like, I think ever since 2020, when we won that, even probably since 2019, even probably since 2017, to be perfectly honest, we never really thought we was going to lose the division. And, besides that one miracle year for the Giants, which ended in, tragic heartbreak like we discussed, but still, they had to go through a whole miracle season just to beat us by one game. I think we had one year where we tied with the Rockies or something like that. Had to play like a game 163. But, for the most part, we've cooked the division for the most part. If you win it 10 out of 11 years, 11 out of 12, whatever it's been now, you've obviously been dominating the division no matter how close the races have been at certain points in time. It's always been with basically another team because we've always been top dog. Who else in the division is going to try to compete with us? I'm getting off topic. I'm just trying to get back into this whole shit, you know what I mean? So, it's your boy Hendo. We're here with Blu-Zon. Like I told you, I'm a Dodger fan. I'm in Arizona, which is where my title Blu-Zon comes from. And, I hold it down out here, though. You know what I'm saying? I hold it down. Because, out here it's a bunch of beat LA chants. But, if you ever seen a Dodger game in Arizona, then you should all know that it's always pretty much always mostly Dodger fans in that bitch. So that's a Dodger Stadium West. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just another Dodger fan, an extension of the LA area. You know what I mean? Not by region or geographical birth location, but by blood and by heart, you know what I'm saying? And by devotion. So I'm back, pretty much brand new. It's your boy Hendo, Blu-Zon. We gonna turn it around. I have faith. Keep the faith. It's a long season. September just started. We obviously got to get it going because the playoffs is around the corner. And right now we in a fight to make it or not with the way we playing. So obviously, we got to figure some shit out. Got to get Max back. We just got to get our energy back. Got to get our mojo back. You know what I mean? But keep the faith. It's a long season. I think the boys is a little tired. It's been I think last season winning all that championship and everything was such a huge grind and emotional breakthrough for the organization and the franchise as a total, and of course the fan base in total. But we're gonna be back. We're gonna be fine, I think. Yeah, I know Tanner Scott kind of looking like Craig Kimbrell right now, and that might be the case for this season. But we'll see. We still got a few weeks left to try to right the ship. I think you're gonna have to anyway with all our injuries. So, but keep the faith. It's a long season. If we win the division, all the shit really matters is if we make it in October. If we make it in October, just like anybody else, we have a chance. When the D-backs swept us a couple of years ago, and being a Dodger fan in Arizona, that was one of the worst things that could ever happen. And I was at game 1, actually. So I got to see the worst of the worst. That was right when Hit the Freddy was popping off and all that type of shit. But water under the bridge now. But, you know, they made up for it the next season. Of course, then Freddie Freeman hits the grand slam, all this type of shit, man. I'd probably be famous right now if that shit would have happened when Hit the Freddie was going on. But, you know, it's all Gucci. I still believe we could repeat for sure. I really do. It's been a tough stretch, but you know, we just got to get some people back, but we just got to turn the energy around. And the only way to do that is to claw and scratch. It's never going to be easy. So they might have to dog fight for a few wins, and eventually they'll start getting their confidence back, getting the energy back, and we'll start seeing the Dodgers that we used to watching. But I think the boys are a little tired, and I think the pressure of October coming up on them is going to start to wake them up a little bit too. But we'll see. We'll see. It's wishful thinking, and you know, it only means so much. We'll see what they do. But anyway, Blu-Zon, I'm signing out. It's been 30 minutes of talking. I probably won't do too many videos this long. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. But you know, we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna try to edit this a little bit and get it uploaded here pretty soon. I'm gonna post some snippets or whatever on IG. But the fullest thing, of course, going to be right here on my YouTube channel, Blu-Zon. And yeah, you know, I don't know if I don't think every game is gonna be realistic, but you know, I might do little mini videos for daily, every game type shit, and then maybe longer posts for like once a week or some shit like that, just to kind of give a recap on what's going on and everything like that. You know, that sounds manageable. So, but anyway, leave me some comments. You know what I mean? Some feedback. You know what I'm saying? Anything y'all want to discuss, you know what I mean? This is episode 1 officially again. And so, you know, plan is to go from here and build it to whatever it's going to turn into, you know what I'm saying? So from Arizona to wherever you at, go Dodgers, bleed blue. Don't lose the faith quite yet, you know what I'm saying? It's a long season, and we still got plenty of time to do what we set out to do as a team. So until next time, stay up, Dodger fans. Love y'all. Dodger Blue, Dodger Nation. It's going to be all right. Keep the faith.